Dear students, today we will see how to solve the quadratic inequalities. Before just going to quadratic inequalities, just a quick review of solving linear inequalities. You already have learned solving linear inequalities in your IGCSE course. For example, if there is an inequality 2 into x plus 7 is less than or equal to minus 4, you can just solve it like a linear equation, and at the end you'll get the value, that is x is less than minus 9. Let us have a look into another example. 11 minus 2x is greater than or equal to 5, and if you work it out you'll get minus 2x is greater than or equal to minus 6. And here you can see that we divide both sides of this inequality by minus 2. So we divide the inequality, the both sides of inequality by a negative number. And you can see that here we get x and here 3, and the sign of inequality changes from greater to less. Okay, so just to re-emphasize that if we multiply or divide both sides of any inequality by a negative number, the inequality sign must be reversed. So this was just a quick recap of linear inequalities. Let's come back to our topic of quadratic inequalities. You know how to solve the quadratic equations. You can solve quadratic equation by factorization, or by quadratic formula, or of course by converting a quadratic equation into completed square form, and then you can work out the values of x and y from there. Okay, solving quadratic inequalities, we will use the technique of sketching the graph of a quadratic inequality. Okay, so basically you already learned how we can sketch the graphs for given quadratic functions. We'll use the same technique. So basically what you need here is you need to sketch the graph of given quadratic function, and you just need of course the shape of the graph, or we can say that, okay, rather than shape of the graph, you can say which way up the graph is, right? Which way up the graph is. So it can be like this, or it can be like that. Okay, so if the coefficient of x is greater than 0, that will be the shape of our curve, and if it is less than 0, that would be the shape of our curve. So this is first thing you need to know. Of course, you can easily get it from the given quadratic function. If x square has a positive sign or negative sign, you can then decide about the shape of your sketch. Second thing we need, of course, are the points at which graph intersect x-axis, right? Remember, we did we used this technique yesterday in sketching the graph. The third one was working out the vertex. Here we don't need to work out the coordinate of vertex. We just need to solve the quadratic inequalities, means we need to work out the values of x. That is the points where the graph intersect the x-axis. Okay, so these two are the main points which we need to look into. For example, let us look into an example. It is said that solve x square minus 5x minus 14 is greater than 0. So this is an inequality, basically it is, we know that this is our function, and you can write this as fx is greater than 0, or you can also write y is greater than 0. So basically we need to work out the values of x for which y is positive, or the function is positive, right? So we say that y is equal to x squared minus 5x minus 14. Treat this inequality as an equation now. For y is equal to 0, our equation becomes x squared minus 5x minus 14 is equal to 0. And solving this inequality, this equation, you will get x is equal to minus 2 or x is equal to 7. So it means that these are the 2 points where the curve intersects the x-axis. And from here, you can see that x squared is positive, so our parabola will be upward. It's not the inverted parabola. So now we can sketch this curve here. We just need a sketch. So we have negative 2 here and 7 on the positive side of the x-axis, and then you can just sketch it. Okay, we don't need vertex, as I told you. So that is our required sketch. Now sketch is done. We need to find the solution set of this curve. X is equal to minus 2 and x is equal to 7. These are the 2 points which we obtained after solving the quadratic equation, not inequality. After reaching to that point, we will now again look back to our inequality, and our inequality said that y is greater than 0, means y is positive. So we need the values of x for which y values are positive. Okay. Look at your sketch now carefully. Here we have 7. If we take this value 8, you can see that the graph is positive of this value, right? But as soon as you go on the other side of 7, say if you take this value 6, the graph becomes, the y becomes negative, because this is 0, this is below the x-axis, so this is the negative y-axis. So therefore, our answer include all these values. Okay. Similarly, on this side, the values of x, if you take minus 3, you can see that y value is positive. Therefore, our values include all these values of x. For all these values of x which are negative 2 or less than negative 2, y becomes positive. And here for all these values of x which are 7 or more than 7, the y becomes positive. Hence, our answer is, therefore, x is less than minus 2 or x is greater than 7. That would be our final answer for this inequality. Now let's just quickly redraw this inequality again and just to look into another thing. 2, negative, and 7. And that is our sketch. All right. Now, if I change the inequality, the same inequality, x squared minus 5x minus 14 is less than 0. X squared minus 5x minus 14 is less than 0. Of course, when you will work it out, you'll get these 2 points of intersection. Now, our y value, our required y value is less than 0, that is, y is negative. So what are the values of x for which y becomes negative? You can see that here this part of y is negative, right? So if you take a value here, say -1 for x, so y value is negative, right? If you take any value 6 here, for example, so our y value is again negative. Therefore, all the values of x between -2 and 7 gives a negative value of y. So in this particular case, if your function is changed to that, our answer will be x is less than 7 or greater than -2. So you can see that how we use our sketch graph in two cases in order to get our final answer.